What's up, D&M crew?
Welcome back to our channel, you guys. Today we are going to be talking about the title of this video, the real reasons that we left Texas. I know that in previous videos we mentioned why we moved back to Minnesota, but today we're going to be talking about some other stuff deeper than the surface.
We've mentioned it before, but we've never really dedicated a full video to it, so that's what we're doing now, so that you guys are all in the loop on why we actually left Texas and came back to Minnesota, because it's probably not what you think. If you just think about why we might have left, it's probably not the reasons why. It's not it's not because of any type of bad event that we experienced there. It's really just how our lives led out.
Yeah, it was just like kind of a domino effect.
Yeah.
So let's start for any of you guys that are new here. In October of 2019, we moved to Dallas, and we lived with my parents for like 2 weeks, because when we first moved to Texas, we literally packed up our car to the brim and just left. We didn't know where we were gonna live,
and it was about a week planning.
Like we were just so excited.
Yeah, we got the idea and we just left. So that's how that kind of worked out. We lived with her family for probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then we found our place.
After looking at, we literally toured like 15 apartments. We didn't film all of them, but we toured so many apartments.
Yes.
We were so tired out. We kind of just like went with what we thought was the best one. But if you guys know, it ended up not being our best option.
And we've done a video about that, so go and check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, it wasn't our favorite place. The second place was definitely a lot better. And we moved in, what was that, March?
Yeah, we moved in March, so we moved from Frisco to McKinney.
Yep. But while we were in Frisco, the apartment wasn't the best, but we were kind of exploring Texas a lot. We were going to Waco, San Antonio, Austin.
Yep.
And we even drove through the western part of Texas to go to Colorado. And actually, right when we moved into McKinney, we took one of our last trips that we could have taken before the pandemic hit, and it was actually like right at the start, like right when people were wearing masks and social distancing was becoming a thing. We actually didn't have a mask at that point yet, because it was so like new to America at that time.
Yeah.
And so right when we moved into our new place, that's when things started changing.
Well, we had like one good week, which was my birthday weekend.
Yes.
My sister and my nephew flew in, and everything was just good. You heard a few things about the cases, but nothing was shut down yet.
I ordered flowers for her birthday and stuff, and we weren't even worried about like contamination.
No. I remember hearing though, while I was at work, like about somebody in like Plano or Frisco, like a man got COVID and then he spread it to his family. And so I was kind of worried, but I was like, oh, it's only like 3 or 4 cases. Like they'll contain it. It'll be fine. And then literally the weekend after my birthday, what day did we say it was? The 15th or the 14th of March?
It's like the 14th or 15th that this stuff really started getting real.
Everything changed. Everything shut down. Everybody started just taking it more seriously. So that's kind of when everything, I wouldn't say went downhill, but it just really changed.
Well, we left, we were like debating at that point, all right, do we still go to Colorado? And we went to Colorado on the 17th. And some people at this point, it was already starting to get real, like gave us crap for that, like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. But we were like, all right, well, we planned it for my birthday. My birthday was the 21st.
Yeah.
And so we just did it, but it was, all the parks were closed down in Colorado, so we didn't get to experience that as much as we did, as much as we could have without the pandemic. And then, when we got back, everything was just different.
It was so weird. I lost my job.
Yep. I'm sure for a lot of you as well. Like this just changed for everyone. But we happened to be in a state that we were kind of still getting to know. And still exploring. We hadn't really met anyone yet. We were still trying to do that. And then this thing hit, and we just couldn't do any of that anymore. And so I guess this is where we get into like the real like meat of this video on why we left. And the big reason, the main reason, is because, like I just said, we were in a new state. We couldn't explore it anymore. People weren't in the mood to meet other people, right? People were just kind of sketchy of other people. Like, oh, okay.
Even our family.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Like, we did not see my family for 2.5 months. Like, it broke my heart because I'm like,
broke my heart.
They're just 30 minutes away. Like, we could go hang out, but we were all just like, well, we don't know, like, if you have it. After they started mentioning, like, you could be asymptomatic and you shouldn't be hanging out with people that aren't in your household. So it was just like...
Like, by the end of it, we were wearing masks around her family. And, you know, that just kind of sucks. So even the people that we had in Texas that we knew and that we could see if the pandemic wasn't going on, we couldn't anymore. So we just got kind of sad about that, and, you know... Really sad. And we tried to even travel a little bit when things started kind of getting normalized again, but everyone was still wearing masks.
Probably in like June, like June, July-ish. Because we came back to Minnesota in June, just for like a week and a half for a wedding. And then I think a lot of people felt so much more comfortable traveling. Like, I saw so many people on social media, like, flying to places. I was like, I don't think I'd be comfortable flying somewhere.
Yeah, not planes.
But if it's just like us taking a road trip to Austin, we're in our own car, we're wearing masks. You guys saw the videos. Like,
if you were here, if you haven't, go watch them.
Yeah, exactly.
But but even that was different because, you know, we went to Waco, and this is the one I always point out because it was like a big moment. We went to Waco, and visiting Waco became like a thing that we did, and visiting the magnolia silos that are there. That was like something we've always done when we go to Austin. And when we got there was now a line because they were like social distancing and doing all that. And it was so long and it wasn't moving quick and everyone had masks on and it was really hot. And so we got in the line and like 2 minutes later we were like, all right, screw this. We are not going to wait for this. Let's just go to Austin because we always visited that on our way to Austin. And so we couldn't even do the things that we like got accustomed to doing in Texas, right? So like we weren't complete newbies to Texas. We had visited Texas
years before we moved there.
Countless times, together and separately. And we kind of had our traditions and we were still trying to explore, but we really felt comfortable in the things that we had already started doing. And then those even started getting canceled, I guess. You know, like you couldn't do those things anymore, at least not in the way that you used to. And, you know, we just felt more and more, even as things were opening up, that we were just becoming more isolated in our little castle of an apartment. And it was really like a castle because no one else lived in the building. There was probably like 2 or 3 other apartments that were full. The rest of them in our building was just completely empty. It just felt like we were alone, isolated. We couldn't see our family. We couldn't do the things that we wanted to do. And we just made the ultimate decision that, all right, this is probably not the place that we should be at right now. And that was like the big thing, just feeling alone.
It really, oh my god, it consumed the heck out of us. We, like Mitch said, we're the only people, like one of the only people that lived in our building, the only people on our apartment floor. Like, as much as I don't like the noise and all that stuff, it was just kind of like eerie. Like, no, it just felt like nobody else was around. And even if we did go see my family, like, we had to be super cautious. It just wasn't the same. I joined Bible study right before the pandemic hit. I didn't get to hang out with those girls that I had met. So yeah, it was just very isolating. It became very depressing. We were doing the same things every single day, even if we wanted to do something different. Like, literally the things that we did different from time to time was go to Crumble Cookie, just to like get out of the house.
We would just take drives and stuff. Which was nice, but Texas roads aren't the chillest places to drive. I mean, everyone's going crazy.
Exactly.
And it was just like a big changing moment. And one day Destiny was just like, do you want to move back to Minnesota?
And this is something that I was like completely against. Right after the pandemic hit, we were like, well, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, our lease is only 7 months. Like, it's going to be up by the end of the summer. And I was just like so against moving back to Minnesota. I was just like, I don't want to go back to that lifestyle. I was just so depressed there. And then I thought that moving to Texas was going to help, and
it did for a little bit.
It did for a little bit, and then the pandemic hit, and then it was just like right back into just depressing moods. That pattern of just doing the same thing every day, it was just not working out for my mental health.
Yeah, because we couldn't see anyone, couldn't do anything. And I had already thought of it to myself. I hadn't really told Destiny, but I already wanted to go back to Minnesota because I knew that we'd at least be able to see my family because we'd live with them. We'd at least be able to know the area very well. We'd have friends here. We'd have people that we could talk to. And for me, I was kind of basing everything off, all right, like I'm not going to sit here and just kind of sulk and, oh, I wish life was back the way it was, or, you know, oh, why does this have to happen? I was just kind of like, all right, this thing's here. Yeah. It's not going away anytime soon. What do we need to do about it? And Texas just didn't feel right for us at that moment. So I was kind of basing everything off of, all right, how do we adapt to this thing? Not just be so, you know, reactive and stuff, but like, how do we adapt to the new reality, and how do we kind of wait this out? Because we're not going to stay here, as we've already said. If you're new here, we're not going to stay in Minnesota. We didn't move permanently back to Minnesota, so we will not stay here for very long. We will go back either to Texas or to Colorado, somewhere. We are going to leave here whenever this is done.
Or just like whenever
it's more normal.
It's more normalized. Like, we just feel so much more comfortable here even now, even though it's still going on. Like, we feel so much more comfortable in Minnesota where we know places we can go, how many people are going to be there. Is that store going to be crowded? Like, can we go do this and feel safe? Like, we just feel safer here, and it already kind of feels normal. Like, sometimes we go out and forget, like, until we see people wearing masks, then we're like, oh yeah. But other than that, like, things kind of feel back to normal again. Like Mitch said, we live with his sister and her kids, so we're always around people, which is like less lonely, obviously. All of this to say that, like, we don't want to make our personal experience seem like Texas isn't a great place to live, because that's not why we moved. It's
not like we saw anything racist. It's not about the people. The people were great, honestly. Well, honestly, before the pandemic, because honestly, I feel like the pandemic just made everyone like sketchy about other people. So people became more rude, and just kind of like not friendly. You know, people still open the doors for other people and stuff. And if you watched our moving to Texas video, you'll know that was a big change for me. I always opened the door for people in Minnesota, but I was probably like the 10% of people in Minnesota that hold doors open. Like, people in Minnesota are actually very rude when it comes to that. They don't look behind them. They don't care if you're literally directly behind them.
Minnesota nice is honestly just an excuse to be like shady as hell. Like, it's not a real thing. Minnesota nice is not like Southern hospitality at all.
Minnesota nice is the fakeness that people do. Like, oh yeah, and then they go back to their friend, this person was a dork, you know, and stuff like that.
Like, talk behind your back and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, that is not the reason we left Texas.
Well, it's just pandemic, really. Like, and I remember when we visited Minnesota when the pandemic was going on, it felt so good to be home.
It felt normal. It was like, just like a relief. Like,
and at that point, like, masks weren't mandated here, and so I remember not even wearing masks going to Target, because barely anyone goes there and stuff, you know, like at the Target by us. We're not downtown. We're not in Minneapolis. We're not where everything's crazy down there. We're in a really small town. And, you know, very just, you feel comfortable here.
Right.
And definitely now that all this COVID stuff is happening, it feels even more comfortable, just like having that experience behind you. It just feels like, all right, this is comfortable for right now. We can live with this for right now. And it's like a good jumping off pad for the things that we want to do when this stuff kind of gets situated. I don't know if a vaccine's coming out. I don't know.
Don't nobody know. Let's be real.
I mean, based on stuff, you know, we could see one early to 2021 where stuff actually is handed out to like the public and stuff. So we'll see if that comes true. We'll see what happens. We'll see if, like, you know, we hit the peak or something. I don't know. Like, you know, I really don't know. But that's why we came here, because we're in a state of not knowing anything right now. And I just wanted to be somewhere where we're comfortable. Destiny told you, like, she lost her job, so, like, you know, finances were a big part too. Like, that's like another reason, right? Like, I was the only one making an income. You can only rely on unemployment for so long and stuff. It was just the smart move to come back. And we know from other people telling us in comments and stuff that they're in the same boat, that they felt the same way, and they were like, oh my God, I'm so glad, like, we just moved here or there or wherever, and we had to go back too, because it was just, we couldn't experience the state. And when you can't experience a state that you're not from and that you don't really know as a native or something like that, you know, it kind of sucks. You know, it kind of sucks, especially when you can't meet people because everyone's just kind of afraid of each other. You know, we kind of went back to that tribal state where, you know, people are like, oh, you got diseases and stuff, you know? And so, yeah, it was just the smart move, I think, to come back for a little bit, kind of chill out, not be so worried all the time about what's going to happen. And, but we still are holding on to our goals, you know, and, you know, we have some things to work out and work on. You know, we just started our merch. We wanted to start other projects that we have in mind that we'll announce later.
But speaking of merch,
oh yeah, I've been drinking out of the cup.
You've been drinking out of the cup this entire time. So you guys can go get these from our store. The link is right down below. It'll take you right to the website. We have t-shirts, long sleeves, we have masks, mugs. So go check it out. But yeah, like Mitch said, we have other stuff that we are working on. We actually are filming this on a brand new camera that we just bought, which is...
I love this camera.
Yeah, we love this camera so much.
So if you see me not looking at the camera, it's because it's because on our other camera, the viewfinder flipped up, and it looked like we were looking at the camera if we were looking at. This one flips to the side. So right now I'm looking at the side. Now I'm looking at the camera.
I know. I keep having to like cover up the viewfinder so you're not looking at it.
So it's a learning curve for us on this one, and but bear with us, all right? And also, I guess I can show you my little project that I've been working on.
Oh yeah.
So that's my new painting.
There we go.
And that is my backyard, if you haven't seen it before. But yeah, so that's my new painting. One of my favorite paintings I've ever done in my life, because it may not be as perfect as the lighthouse one, if you know what I'm talking about, but it's more detailed and it took a lot more time and it was a lot harder of a project. So I'm very happy with the way it turned out.
It looks amazing.
And she thinks it looks amazing, so that's all that matters. No, but like, it's definitely getting better. I definitely wanted to paint more. I started in Texas again. You started
like right before we left.
Yeah, I finished that. I finished the Colorado painting in Texas before we left. And I just wanted to get back into that route because I hadn't painted in like 2 years. So like I was just like missing that part of myself, being creative and whatnot. Yeah. And so it feels good to be back in the swing. You know, I feel like I'm going to continue now, you know, going forward. So
yeah, now that you actually have like a designated space, because you were painting in a corner in the apartment, but now you have like an entire room to paint, so that's really nice. Okay,
so we have 2 projects that we want to do ourselves. I'm not gonna name it. But we're gonna save one for a surprise. The other one though is we're trying to get in the business of video editing and photography, and we already kind of started. We did a little project for someone, and honestly, if you want us to do a video for you guys, contact us at the dm@destinyandmitch.com. Email, it's always down below if you want to get a hold of us through email. But yeah, we did a birthday video already for someone's birthday. They had other people film happy birthday messages and then a bunch of pictures that they sent us. And we put it together in this cool little video. Destiny, I should say, put it together in this cool little video. I just kind of, you know, edited it at the end to make sure that everything was fine. And she did a really good job on that. It was really fun. We want to get into like real estate photography and editing, but honestly, anything will do. We just like doing it. Yeah, we do. And as you guys saw in the last home video, the home tour video that we did,
We really tried to switch up the format of that video. We did a voiceover with like some cool montage shots that we got. So we're just trying to practice our like real estate videography angles. We just got a new camera, so we're just gonna be messing around with that. We did do another tour, so that one will be up this Thursday after you guys see this video. And there will obviously be more home tour videos because you guys love them and we love them.
You guys know we love them. Like, we love real estate. We love homes. We love decor. Honestly, in junior high, you know, when you do those career like quizzes and they tell you what careers, they shoot back some careers that you could do. Interior design was like I don't even understand why. They knew something I didn't back then. Because I didn't like interior design back then. Like, I don't know why they told me that. Like, maybe because I liked art and stuff. Yeah. But that was my number one, right above architecture and engineering for so long. And I'm like, well, I don't know what they're talking about. And then I met her, and all the things came out. I started liking home decor and homes and stuff. And, you know, I just love it. When someone puts together a nice room, and like you can feel that the space is being utilized and stuff. And I've always liked that. I've always liked making use of the space. And so maybe that's it. I don't know. But we love it. So
and actually, to add on to that, you guys, Mitch is so good at utilizing space. Like, I can't even explain it. In our apartments before, and even in the house that we're in right now, like, he just has such good ideas with what to do with spaces, how to store things. Like, it honestly blows my mind because I thought that I was that type of person, and then I met you and you started doing stuff like that. I'm like, holy crap, this dude is on like another he's on X Games mode.
Oh god, he's on X Games mode.
He's on X Games mode with like the organization and utilization of space, and like, that is just good.
If you saw our home tour where we showed you our living space and where we're living in Minnesota now, I think she's particularly talking about the bookshelf that I put on my desk. It's not a bookshelf.
If y'all could see behind the scenes of how he made that bookshelf.
Yeah, I mean, like, a lot went into it. There's like boards sticking up underneath the whole bookshelf, but like you can't see it because it's all in the back and stuff. So I like that. I
would just never think to do that type of stuff. Like, I just thought it was a gap that like was kind of just ugly there, and then you put books there and made it a bookshelf,
and it
I'm like,
looks
what?
awesome. Like, it's like my favorite thing too. It looks so good.
It is really good.
But yeah, it was just like this awkward thing, like, oh, that's not supposed to be there, but and that you just gotta makeshift stuff. And once I feel like once we have enough money to actually do some professional stuff, like, it's gonna be real nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you gotta work with what you got.
Exactly.
When you got it. So.
If you're in Minnesota and you need some real estate photos, like, hit us up. I can show you the photos and like more video clips and stuff of what we've done. It's so fun. Like,
the photos she takes are really good. Like, I love her photos of real estate and home decor and all that stuff. I mean, she does a really good job.
Thank you. And I edit them all myself too with my presets. So it's really good.
Yeah, she has her own presets.
I have my own presets, guys.
I should tell you something. Yeah, I think that's a good explanation.
We totally went on a tangent at the end there. I hope you guys don't mind. But we just like sharing our thoughts and updating you guys, keeping you guys up to date, because I feel like we haven't done a sit-down video like this in probably like a month. Like, all of our other videos have been about moving in houses. So
and this is still about moving, but it's a sit-down one. So.
Exactly. But with that being said, we're going to end the video here. We hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys check out our merch down below. And like we said, if you guys need any help with video editing or photography, you guys can email us at the email in our description box.
And we'll send you some of the stuff we've already done. So that's the video, guys. We will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Peace.